We have our news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage. They know mortgages. I tell you what, 30 plus years in the mortgage business. Holly Schneiderwind is the head of the company over there, and she and her team just do such an outstanding job of taking care of home buyers, the borrowers. You know, for most people, buying a house is about the most expensive thing you have, the most expensive purchase you make. And you want Eagle Mortgage on your side to make it as positive as possible. So if you're thinking about getting a new piece of the American dream, or perhaps a bigger piece of the American dream than you have right now, contact Holly and her team. They'll sit down with you, they'll talk, and of course they're not beholden to any one bank, so that they can shop the market and get you the best deal. Doesn't matter what kind of loan you're getting. And then get that pre-approval letter. And as you go out there and get into that home selection and offering rat race, that pre-approval letter from Eagle Mortgage is like a really effective weapon in your arsenal. Okay, so let's get into it, Brad. One of the big pieces of news this week is that the Omaha Airport Authority held the official groundbreaking for the $950 million Eppley terminal expansion. Now, we have reported on plans about this when they were released in the middle of January, but we do have a couple of new things to report in regards to the airport terminal. First of all, not only did they do a ceremonial groundbreaking, but I've noticed the last time I took a flight about a week or two ago, they've actually started construction. On the east side of the terminal between the two satellites, they're removing concrete, and there's a lot of heavy machinery back there.
Yeah, you know, when plans are released, that's always fun, and you get to talk about what's coming. But when you actually see the groundbreaking happen, that's exciting because you know it's underway.
It's real. In fact, just a reminder for people, if you forgot this, the actual size of the terminal will go from 375,000 square feet terminally, currently at the currently up to 646,000 square feet, so close to doubling. It'll be a single unified concourse with a centralized TSA security screening checkpoint. We'll go from 20 to 22 gates. That doesn't seem like a big increase, but the number of gates is not the problem. It's the square footage that's the problem.
Yeah, the amenities in there, that airport, you know, the Omaha Airport Authority does a great job with what we have. They keep it very nice and clean. But, you know, I was flying out on a Saturday morning, and the line for a coffee, you know, something so simple, was so long that I just said, skip it. I'll wait till I get to my destination.
Oh, yeah. The line at the scooters in the North Terminal sometimes I think is longer than the flight you're about ready to take.
Or longer than the TSA line sometimes.
Oh, truly? Yeah. Yeah, because I'm pre-check. I usually go through pretty fast.
Yeah. And the key with that 22 gates is when this is all done, it will be easy to add on more gates as they're needed down the road.
Also very exciting, 2 of those gates will be international travel enabled. There will be a Customs and Border Protection arrivals hall for international passenger processing. It was interesting, KETV this week reported that there's a really good chance we'll have regularly scheduled international flights at the time or shortly after this expanded terminal opens. It'll be 100% done in 2028, although for those of you who are sitting there thinking, oh my God, 2028, that's like a big part of my lifetime away. You'll actually be using new parts of that terminal in probably less than 2 years.
Yeah, because they have to build the new middle part, and then they start adding on to that. So.
Yeah, so this is when it's like finally done. And KETV reported that it's expected that some of the airlines, one of the airlines, might have a regular daily or a couple times a week nonstop, and looking at the most likely destinations being Cancun, Cabo San Lucas, Puerto Vallarta, or those are in Mexico, and then Montego Bay in Jamaica. That would all make sense. If I had to bet money, my bet is the first nonstop international at the new Eppley is Cancun.
Yeah, and that's a very popular destination for people around here this time of year to get away from this cold and snow.
Yeah, so anyway, we'll keep our eye on that. That's a big deal. We talk about Eppley and flights and aviation quite a bit on this show just because Really good airport facilities and a lot of good nonstop flight options are really important to economic health of a market area and growth economically as well. So we'll definitely keep our eye on this airport news as we move forward. Well, let's go about 20 some miles to the southwest, and we are now in the city of Gretna. The city has acquired a 35-acre undeveloped property. This is between U.S. Highway 6 and Gretna's brand new Gretna Crossing Park. For those of you that are familiar with the immediate area, it's north of Jansen Drive. And in this 35-acre lot, it's currently just agricultural fields. This is going to be the new core of the city. Not a new downtown, but a new core of the city. Going to build a new city hall there, a new library, and probably a few other buildings on that site. But this is yet another sign, especially in light of what we talked about last week on the show with plans in and around Nebraska Crossing, for Gretna to grow up and to become a bigger city. It's already the fastest growing one around.
Yeah, and actually it's growing fast in like 4 different directions right now. I mean, because the 370 corridor is just exploding. And then there's still a lot of development going on Highway 6 north of Gretna. So this, it's probably what Nebraska's fastest growing city, I would assume.
Yeah, I was talking with the mayor of Gretna not too terribly long ago, and he was estimating population is probably up around 10,000. Which, compared to 70,000 in Bellevue is not huge, but you consider it was 5,000 like a couple minutes ago.
I was just saying, at the last census, I was thinking it was 5,000 or 6,000, so 10,000, it's nearly doubled.
It's popping up there pretty fast. And the school district in Gretna, which of course is technically separate from the city, is growing really fast as well.
They have schools going up everywhere.
And then their new high school opened recently. So, we'll plan on continuing to see explosive growth in the Gretna and the immediate surrounding area. So some of you who take 72nd Street probably noticed, a few years ago, a sign that said Rocket Car Wash coming soon for a very unique, long, thin piece of land on the east side of 72nd Street, immediately south of Farnham. That's just a little bit south of Dodge. And if you can picture that site, there's one of the world's biggest wooden retaining walls holding up the neighborhood to the east. And so the thought was for this Rocket Car Wash to be along there. And the sign's been there for seemingly ever. And apparently that might not be in the works anymore, Brad.
No, that lot was put back on the market a couple weeks ago or a week ago.
Yeah, listed for $3.35 million. I can't say that I'm shocked. Nothing against Rocket Car Wash, but I think that could be a difficult lot. It could scare some people away.
Yeah, it's a real thin lot, like you mentioned, and then depending on what kind of, I'm guessing the city would want a little right of way, and then the setbacks with the neighborhood to the east. There's not, in my opinion, much buildable area there, and it would probably take some waivers from the Zoning Board of Appeals to get anything done there.
Yeah, it could just be a little bit tricky. But that said, location-wise, it's phenomenal because you are, just a couple blocks off of the most important intersection in the state of Nebraska. 72nd Dodge is not the busiest. It's one of the top 3 or 4, but it's probably the most important when you consider what happens there.
Be right across from the brand new library and the crossroads that's going up. So
yeah, the library is looking impressive. The steel is going up on that thing really fast. That is definitely going to be an architectural landmark. Seems to be going up a little faster than I would have guessed, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd call it topped out, but I mean, there's a lot of steel there. It can't be too much more, I would assume.
Yeah, it's coming along. And a lot of people keep asking us about the crossroads. When are we going to see more stuff there? We don't know. We do know that it's a hell of a development and pretty complicated.
Yeah, it seems like anytime we put anything on our social media, that's one of the questions. Even if it has nothing to do with the crossroads, the people always ask when it's going to start. We get messages in. And I guess we've talked about this a few times, but last year in 2023, they put in all the infrastructure. The roads are in, The sewers are in, the water lines are in it. So everything that needs to go in the ground and below the ground is in there now. So, and they've said all along that 2024 is when you would start seeing buildings going up. So we don't know when in 2024, but everything is in place where a building could start going.
Well, yeah, and like I say, it's very complicated for a lot of different reasons. And I think sometimes we've seen so much growth and so much development happen so fast in this town in the last few years. If you see one that's kind of taking more of a traditional timeline, people are thinking, what's wrong? What's wrong? Well, it's a $600 million plus development, and it's complicated, and some of these things take a while.
Yeah, and this is just like a new development out in West Omaha where, say like 204th and Q right now, they're putting in all the roads and utilities, and it's the exact same thing. They're starting basically from scratch. They tore everything down, scraped the site, and they're starting over. So there's a lot of prep work in between.
Well, let's look downtown a little bit for a couple minutes. And the ice skating rink at Heartland of America Park, from all indications, was a smash hit this winter. And as we all know, we're enjoying this beautiful early spring right now, so ice skating is done.
Yeah.
It's been too hot for that ice down there.
So I'm disappointed. As much as my son and I are on the ice, we never made it to ice skating.
Well, you guys were on some indoor ice, though.
Yeah, a lot of indoor ice. But we have our rollerblades, so we will get down there for sure.
I tell you, that skating ribbon is so cool. I have not ice skated since I was in high school, so I probably am not going to ice skate on it. But I did enjoy going down there a couple times during the Christmas season when the lights were all in place. And gosh, there were just so many skaters on that thing. But it's being converted to roller skating right now.
Between the holiday lights and then the fire pits and everything, it just had such a neat feel to it.
Yeah, and some of those times when you'd be down there, it was like you were in a Hallmark movie because everything was so idyllic and practically perfect in every way.
Did some girl come back home and meet her old boyfriend?
Yeah, because she was in New York City and just
he owned a Christmas tree farm or something.
Even though that she was devastatingly gorgeous, she could never get a date.
Yeah.
And then the fireman she meets back in Omaha is like widowed. Yeah, and he can never get a date. Yeah, that's how it works.
Yep.
I'm sure that happened a couple times at Heartland of America Park this Christmas season. Well, just a little bit south of there, Omaha's Henry Dorley Zoo and Aquarium has welcomed yet another baby elephant. This is really cool. A male calf was born this past Sunday. That is the fifth, count them, fifth elephant calf born in Omaha in the past 2 years. The local population of elephants in this town is now 10.
It's crazy. I cannot, when they first brought them here and they were hoping to, grow the herd, I never would have expected 5.
I tell you, something is in the water at 13th and Deer Park. But that is your news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage. EagleMortgageCompany.com is where you can find them online or in person at 114th and Davenport. If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.